Now let's talk about this feminist. You guys wanted me to talk about feminism. So here we have a sheikha. We have one of these feminist sheikhas, and you're gonna cringe a lot when you hear this.
About Muslim women influencers, and many people have been asking, what about Muslim menfluencers? I'd inshallah like to share with you why I think Muslim influencers, but specifically dawah bros, are not being addressed.
Menfluencers. This is a new term. Menfluencers. The dawah bros. The dawah bros are not being addressed. We have to address the dawah bros, the menfluencers.
Content of Muslim women influencers typically focus on beauty, travel, lifestyle, clothing, and in comparison to a genocide, those things seem frivolous, especially when that content is not being used to advocate and amplify and disrupt genocide.
So the female influencers are focusing on beauty and fashion and travel. And, you know, that's insignificant compared to the genocide that we're going through. That's the only problem. The only problem with these Muslim women on Instagram and TikTok is that, oh, we have a genocide going on. Therefore, it seems kind of trivial. Like, no, the problem is what they're showing, they're caking themselves with makeup, dancing in front of the camera, like putting the camera like right here in front of their face for men to stare at them. That's the problem. If there was no genocide happening, it doesn't suddenly make it good or correct. But this is like her skewed understanding. And this is someone, by the way, who calls herself Shaykha. Like, this is why there's a clown sticker that I've put. That's really, you know, caking yourself in makeup and calling yourself a Shaykha on Instagram. The Insta-Shaykha.
Then, whether or not intentionally, feeds into a system of complacency with profiting and funding genocide, and that is capitalism. Compare that to the content of Muslim dawah bros specifically. What I've noticed.
So on the one hand, we have funding of genocide or funding of capitalism. Okay, what's going to be worse than that?
Is that they typically Islamicize their content. And I have seen that when they are asked why they are not speaking about the liberation of Palestine or Sudan or so many areas of this, their response is that they are focusing on fixing the sins from within. And typically those sins they are focusing on fixing are women.
Who are these dawah bros that are not talking about Philistine? They're not talking about what dawah bro? Do you mean madkhalis? Do you mean the bootlicking madkhalis? Like, they're the ones who don't talk about it. Yeah, I know. But that's not a representation of the dawah bros. Which dawah bro is not talking about Philistine, talking about this Zionist ethnic cleansing campaign? So she's just building up a straw man. Like, oh, the female influencers are talking about travel and beauty. And so, yeah, you know, those are trivial. But the dawah bros, they don't even want to talk. Well, the female influencers that you just mentioned aren't talking about it either. Wasn't that your point? Like, they're not talking about it. They're just focusing on travel and beauty and fashion. So what's your point?
This creates a dystopian reality, is that you will scroll and see a doctor in Gaza. She is saving the lives of her patients under genocide. And the next will be a TikTok live of dawah bros discussing whether or not women should be doctors. The next may be woman after woman who is...
Every Muslim woman has to be a doctor. We know that. Like, that's the aqidah. Every Muslim woman has to be a doctor, has to go study to be a doctor. Like, sorry, that's what the sheikha... That's their fatwa. Like, the new aqidah has dropped, is every Muslim woman has to be a doctor. Why? Because, well, there's doctors in Gaza, female doctors in Gaza.
Recording herself, asking, pleading for anyone to donate to her GoFundMe to get her children safely out of Gaza. And the next will be a video of a dawah bro talking about the fitna of a woman who wears niqab and makes dawah videos online. The third...
What does the one have to do with the other? Like, you can't support Palestinians and also say that niqabis shouldn't be dancing on TikTok. Like, how are they? You can do both. Maybe this sheikha doesn't understand that you can do both. They're not exclusionary.
Third will be video after video after video of the men in Gaza saving women from under the rubble, comforting women, protecting women. And the next will be a...
They're also protecting men and children. It's not all about women.
dawah bro showing the pictures or videos of actual women you can recognize in different stages of their hijab journey. Sometimes they will blur out their faces, but you'll know who they are. And they will talk about the downfall of this ummah being the hijab of women.
Yeah, if there's a public figure that's posting all of these Instagram videos, they can be criticized publicly, like right now. Your face is blurred and you have a nice big clown sticker on your face. People can recognize who you are. Like, so what? If you don't want to be recognized, if that's like, if you don't want to be criticized, then don't put any videos online. It's very simple as that. Don't put yourself online if you don't want to get criticized. But since you're a woman, no one should be criticizing the female influencers. Oh, she's on different stages of her hijab journey. Therefore, you can't criticize her. This is nonsense.
So in one, you see women who are being saved by men. And in another, you see women who feel unsafe because of men.
Everyone needs to be saving women constantly. Like, oh, never criticize women, never have any kind of critical remark about women. Don't shame them. You should just always be saving women. That's your only role in life, is to save women. Don't you know that? The Shaykha is very clearly delineating what your role is as a man, as a Muslim man. Just save women constantly. Your whole life needs to be dedicated. Save as many women as possible. If you don't save women, what's even the purpose of life? Not worshiping Allah and talking about what Allah requires, talking about what Allah says in the Quran about modesty and hijab and what the Prophet ﷺ brought in terms of gender roles and gender. Don't talk about that. You know, that's not what life is about. Life is about saving women and basically making sure women always feel safe and good. Women always feel like they're loved and supported. Never shame women. Never criticize women for, even if they're blatantly violating the Sharia. Don't say anything about women. That's not appropriate. You know, that's the dawah bro dystopia. It's a dystopia. When you're scrolling on your phone and you're seeing all these dawah bros.
I receive these TikToks oftentimes from my teachers and my colleagues who are imams. These are men who send me the videos of these brothers and they ask, are they not embarrassed?
Wow. So you have so many colleague imams that are sending you videos. Oh, you know, sharing videos. Oh, look at this one. Oh, look at that one. We're colleagues. Oh, he's an imam. Like, imagine these simp imams. Like, what do their wives think about them sending videos to this non-mahram woman and calling her their colleague? Like, who are these imams, these simp imams that are just messaging this random woman? It's because of these simp imams, by the way, that this fool is called a shaykha and thinks of herself as some kind of authority to be speaking about Islam. Like, it's these simp imams who are like, oh yeah, we have male scholars, we have female scholars too. She's a shaykha. You know, here, I'll give you ijazah. You're a shaykha now. Like, are you trying to get her as a second wife? Like, are you trying to get her as her first wife maybe? Like, why are you playing up and inflating the ego of these below average women and giving them this title of shaykha, where they then go on Instagram and portray themselves as shaykha, call themselves shaykha, ustaz, like this, and then they spew this nonsense. Like, the simp imams are really the core of the problem. Those simp imams should have told her, like, look, you know, you want to make a difference in the ummah, get married and start cooking and cleaning, having babies in the kitchen. Like, that's how you can make a difference in the ummah. Like, why are you making TikToks? Why are you on Instagram? You're not really contributing anything. What is this woman, this shaykha, contributing right now, other than whining and crying? Oh, the dawah bros made me feel sad. The dawah bros shamed me. Oh, like, what are all of these shaykha videos? They have only one subject, which is give women more and more and more. Women don't have enough rights. Women are not safe enough. Women haven't been given enough attention and money and status and visibility. Just give us more and more and more and more and more. That's all that these women ever talk about or complain about. These shaykhas, that's the entirety of their dawah. And then every now and then, like this, you know, they mention Palestine to shame you. They mention Palestine. Oh, you know, not only are you not doing enough for us women, you're not doing enough for Palestine. Those things are related, by the way. If you want to be helping Palestine, you need to help women more. Otherwise, you know, so this is, and then she has the audacity of claiming that the dawah bros are Islamicizing their content You're Islamicizing feminism. You're Islamicizing this simphood. The audacity of this clown.
And that speaks to the point on frivolity. It's easy to point to makeup and clothing and travel during a genocide and say those are frivolous in comparison to a genocide. But speaking about women in these ways is also frivolous. But it's not just frivolous.
Why is it frivolous? Like, so if there's a dawah bro that's criticizing tabarruj or ikhtilat or any of these Islamic concepts, legitimately criticizing that and pointing out that this is a problem, how does that compare to someone engaged in tabarruj? Someone who's engaged in ikhtilat and putting out this kind of garbage on fashion. Oh yeah, it's fashion. You know, if these influencers want to show fashion, just take the clothes and put them on camera without you being in it. You know, you don't have to show your body. You don't have to put yourself, because this is like, or the makeup. Oh, it's fashion. Oh, it's travel. Oh, look at me traveling. Like, this is the meme, right? The woman has to place herself at the center of the camera and be constantly at the focus of attention. But the excuse is, oh, I'm just displaying fashion. I'm just traveling. You know, I'm just traveling. Oh, this is my hijab tutorial. Yeah, that's all of that is an excuse for you to show your beauty and to show yourself. Tabarruj in Islam. You know, displaying your beauty that Allah has said is prohibited. And unfortunately, you have simps who are watching this kind of garbage. So it's not just women, it's also some of these men as well that are consuming that content and saying, oh, you're so beautiful, sister. Oh, mashallah, sister, amazing. Like, these simps are part of the problem. If the simps ignored the content or they shamed this kind of content, that'd be correct. But instead, they're simping. So this equivalence, imagine, like, between attention-seeking female behavior under the excuse of fashion and travel and lifestyle or whatever, compared to the dawah bros who are criticizing that garbage. This is what she equates.
It's also dangerous, and it can be violent. There are
dangerous. It's violence. Oh, the danger and the violence. We have to protect these poor hijabi tutorial makers. We have to really protect from danger these poor niqabi dancers on TikTok. Oh no, there's gonna be violence. So it's really disgusting. Like, these people, unfortunately, they have been propped up and they influence a lot of the way that Muslims think about deen. So we have to fight against that.
Places this discussion can go, but specifically on the points of the liberation of Palestine and using our content to push a tidal wave of support. When we Islamicize our excuses, when we skirt personal responsibility. Now, you could say that
you skirt personal responsibility because you call out tabarruj. You're basically a Zionist if you criticize women. If you criticize, you know, these hijabi influencers, that's genocide. You're basically bombing Gaza yourself.
What you are doing is forbidding the evil. But the problem is that the way in which it's done is not one which encourages or inspires change. What I have seen...
Oh, I didn't know that was one of the conditions of nahi anil munkar, like forbidding the evil. One of the conditions is you have to be inspiring. You have to encourage and inspire. If you don't encourage and inspire, then you're not really doing nahi anil munkar. You're not really forbidding the evil. New fiqh just dropped. Is this abrogating everything that we know of the Quran and Sunnah and the scholarly tradition? Like, she's just making stuff up now.
Is it typically divides and it distracts away from the cause. This is a time where we should ask ourselves, are we Islamicizing our obsessions?
You're obsessed. If you criticize women, you're obsessed. That can never be done from a place of genuine concern. You're just obsessed. You hate women and you're dangerous and you're causing violence and you don't care about Palestine. Every single trope she's throwing out there, like seeing what's going to stick. If you're a dawah bro, you're dangerous. You are violent. You are spitting on Palestine. You're spitting on the graves of the Palestinians. And you are not encouraging. You're not inspiring. You're disgusting. You're a hypocrite.
Islamicizing our trauma. Are we Islamicizing our insecurities as an excuse for our lack of actively working for the liberation of Palestine and all of this ummah?
But what now?
Yeah, so, oh my God. Every single trope, And it's all pure projection. Like, oh, you're insecure. if you're criticizing the niqabi dancers, you're just insecure. You're just Islamicizing your insecurity, your trauma. So these are the Shaykha. This is unfortunately an American phenomenon, but we see it increasingly in other parts of the world where they're promoting these female scholars. They're just feminists. Like, they're feminists who have memorized a hadith or two, and they're Shaykha now. They're Shaykha, and you can tell, like, the only topics that they talk about when they're given a platform is how much Muslim women are suffering and how much more we need to give Muslim women. We're not doing enough for Muslim women. If you have a male scholar, he'll talk about fiqh, he'll talk about aqidah, he'll get into the tafsir, every single subject having to do with every area of life. Not just marriage, not just family, also when it comes to all the mu'amalat that we know in Islam, aqidah, fiqh, hadith, usul, like all of these subjects are covered. But you bring a shaykha, all she's concerned about is, oh, are we giving our Muslim women enough rights? That's the only subject that they talk about, ever. So that's all, if they ever write anything. If, writing, forget about writing anything. These shaykhas, they think being a shaykh just means making TikToks. But if they write anything also, it's just focused on that one singular subject. Anyway,